To Zoom or not to Zoom? That is the question, or at least it may have been, had Shakespeare still been with us and had to go to court. Today we're going to talk about Zoom for court. Welcome back to the Divorce Broadcast. My name is Manny Segarra, coming to you from Miami, Florida. Now, before I get started on whether or not Zoom is something you should consider for court, mediation, or depositions, I would be remiss if I didn't try to give you a little bit about Zoom etiquette for court. First, always be on time. Nothing looks worse than when the court calls your case and you're not there, so try to be on time. Next, be dressed appropriately. You're not going to the beach. You're not going to work out. You're not going to the club. You're going to court. You're supposed to look like you're showing the court some respect. So make sure that you show up in business attire or business casual attire at the very least. Speaking of which, make sure that you are completely dressed. No business on top and party on the bottom. God forbid you have a camera malfunction and they videotape below your midsection. You're going to be embarrassed in front of the judge and whoever else is in court that day. Next, make sure that you have good Wi-Fi. It looks really bad when you're testifying or the court or the judge is asking you questions and you get disconnected from your Zoom. You don't want that to happen to you. You also don't want to show up on Zoom with a filter. Remember the infamous cat guy, the attorney in Texas, who had a filter as a cat during the entire proceedings? Don't be that guy. You don't want to be cat filter guy, dog filter guy, or anything like that. Also, try not to use the bathroom. Use it before court or after court. Never bring the camera or the phone into the bathroom with you. It's not going to end well if there's a malfunction. Judges are pretty reasonable and nice people. If you say it's an emergency, I'm sure they will accommodate you. When you get onto the Zoom, stay muted. One of the most famous catchphrases of the pandemic was, "You're still on mute." Well, you want to be on mute unless a judge tells you not to be. Also, while you're on mute, don't talk smack about anybody. If there's a malfunction with the mute button and they hear you saying all this stuff, you could have a big problem. Make sure that when you're on the Zoom, you're on a desk or in a sitting position at a stationary place. You don't want to be in a car. You don't want to be laying in your bed. You don't want to be at the beauty salon. You want to be in a stationary position on a desk or chair. You also want to make sure that you have the correct name of yourself on the Zoom. You don't want to have a funny nickname. You don't want to have a smart aleck remark as your screen name. You want it to be your screen name. And you want to be in an environment that is free of interruptions and loud noises. We love our human babies and our fur babies, but you don't want them in the background during Zoom court. Now let's talk about some of the benefits of using Zoom for court. For the clients, it may be more convenient. Assuming they have decent Wi-Fi, they don't have to leave the comfort of their own homes. If they have to work after court, they can simply drive to work from home, or if they work remotely, they can just log on to work as soon as they're done. The clients may also save money on attorney's fees and costs. By virtue of the attorneys not having to travel to court or wait around the courthouse either, they will save money on attorney's fees and costs. Also, some jurisdictions, you may get expedited hearings or hearings set quicker if they are on Zoom as opposed to hearings in person. This is something that you would have to check with your local court or the court that you are assigned to see what their process and procedures are. Finally, with the technology, a lot of these Zoom hearings are streamlined, and the manner in which evidence is presented is through the technological advances a lot more effective, and people may consider using Zoom because of the technology aspect. There are, however, some instances in which you may consider whether or not you really want to have a hearing in Zoom. And that may be, for instance, during a deposition. During a deposition, when you're taking the deposition of the other side, you may want to speak to your attorney to see if you want that to occur in person. Also, in more complicated hearings, maybe the hearings that are a little bit more emotional, like hearings for time sharing or for drug testing or substance abuse testing, you may want to have those in person so that the court can see the parties and determine how to proceed. And finally, during the final trial or the final hearing, and those final hearings are the ultimate decision in your case, and it may be worth it to have those in person so that the judge can observe the demeanor of the parties, see the arguments of the attorneys, and physically see the evidence. If you know anyone that is having questions about Zoom hearings and needs to proceed accordingly, you can have them give us a call. We are at www.segarralawfirm.com, se habla español. We have offices in Miami and Orlando. As I always say, each case is different, so make sure that you realize that when it interacts with Zoom. Please make sure that you like this video, hit the subscribe button, and share this video with anybody who is thinking of going to court via Zoom. Thank you.